Hey, welcome to this week's Be Creative Now episode. My name is Sam. So I'm not really much of a painter. I've tried it a few times and I've always found it really challenging. I called up my friend Luke at the Funk Factory down in Santa Barbara, and he is putting together a series of videos that he calls the Creator's Toolbox, where he's basically teaching how to paint in video. This is a picture of Santa Barbara Harbor with the boats at sunset. It's a beautiful spot if you ever get down there. So the first step was to gesso the canvases. These are the two different paintings that I'm going to paint over to do this week's video. This one right here was a cool painting I made with my friend Theo. It's like a weird screaming monster coming out of a tree. This painting here is like kind of a tentacle with a bicycle. This is a place where like the canvas tore, and so it's actually taped on the back now to hopefully hold that together. We're gonna gesso over these and start from scratch. And these are also nice, but these are pieces of wood that already have something painted on each one. These are probably for a different project, a different day. This one's pretty cool actually. Gesso spray it's broken. Found some of this old house paint here we're gonna use. You can do with the video set and just kind of do angles to say goodbye to whatever's underpainted there. I'm also trying to seal up that tear in the canvas there. Let me get the sides. I don't know if you can see this, but it's actually made a pretty neat kind of marbled texture. Goodbye guy, just coming in, the same odd angles. I went a little overboard and I thought, let's just gesso everything. Kind of like some of the drippy edges. Texture. After the canvases were gessoed, I had to let them dry overnight since there was 2 coats on there. And then I went in with some orange house paint that I found in the basement. Not going for even coating. I'm trying to highlight those textures like that. Yeah. There's supposed to be dark areas, light area. Whatever was under that previous canvas, that weird wood creature is coming out. You can see it there. Trying to pull through to get those white streaks to show. Might as well get the edges too over here. You can see there's these regions of kind of white stripes everywhere. This will glow once we oil it. The undercoating of color only took a few minutes, maybe an hour to dry. And then I treated that with a layer of, basically it was called an oil glaze, which was a combination of walnut oil and turpentine. If you can see that in there. Careful, this is the part we're getting into oils, don't get overcome by the vapors. So here you can see as I move side to side, the glare from this shiny oil glaze underneath and the texture. So while the oil glaze was still wet, I got to work on the upper half up here of the canvas where you can see there's the sun, and I did a blending technique that I've never done before, working on the furthest away elements from me and then progressing closer. So got a pretty good selection of brushes. I'm hoping it's the right amount of brushes. Got a bunch of browns, reds and oranges, purples, blues, greeny yellows, some other colors. There's another big tube of color. You even got this weird color here. I don't know what that color is.
Wow.
What's up?
Oh, wow, nice. I really like the texture that you've built up underneath the painting.
Thanks for coming,
Thanks,
Marla.
Sam. See ya.
See you later. Without even waiting for that to dry, I did the middle ground, basically the body of the boats and the shadows. And the reason I did that right away is because this is a technique according to the Creator's Toolbox videos called Alla Prima, where you're basically just painting oil paint on while it's wet, and you're not really waiting for anything to dry. You have to be real delicate with it, but it's a lot of fun. foreground was in. I kind of worked on the foreground here, the texture of the water, things like that. The last step was to come in and kind of outline the boats and the windows and do the masts with some highlights, and that was real delicate because you can't mess up at that point. If you mess up, then your whole painting is hosed, and so I was real careful. Alright, you guys, thanks for checking in. That's this week's Be Creative Now video about painting. My name is Sam. If you had a good time watching this and got something out of it, I hope you'll come back next week. Maybe leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought, especially if you're a painter. I'd love to hear your feedback. If you want to check out the Creator's Toolbox videos that I used to make this painting of the boats in Santa Barbara Harbor, I'm going to put a link down in the notes below. Check it out. Those guys are great, and their videos are really useful. I found them super helpful. Feel free to sign up for the newsletter at the top of the page. I won't email you super often, but when I do, I'll try to make it entertaining. I hope you have a great time this week, whatever you decide to get into, whatever you're making. Check back with me again next week here at BeCreativeNow.com.